in all my life from things that I've always. When I was a little kid, I had a friend next door named Wayne Allen, and Wayne and I loved Speed Racer, and we would actually imitate the characters on Speed Racer. Who knew?
You would imitate the characters? Oh,
yes.
I would imitate the characters. I built the Mach 5. We would do all the fun little, all the sounds, but we never had a clue that it was anime or that it was from Japan. We just thought it was this weird, cool little thing that was different from Scooby-Doo and Bugs Bunny, and it's so ironic to now be in this industry. And a few years ago, actually sat beside, at the American Anime Awards, sat beside the voice of Speed Racer. Yeah.
And it was like, it was the craziest thing because in my mind I'm like, this is so weird. I'm here doing this, and here's the guy that we used to love, and never had a clue that I would ever be involved in this industry. So,
yay!
Yay! Cue me.
Here with the camera and the fish on your head. What's on your head? Yeah, you. Erica. Hi.
Yes.
I have a question for Todd. As
Yes,
Lane, can you confess your love to Edward?
I'm ready. Did you want to say something to me? Well, I want you to know that in my country it's customary to confess your love for someone of the same sex. And I would like to tell you that I love you and all your sparkles and the way you drink blood and... I want you to come with me back to my kingdom when I become Prince Ling of Qing. I want you to rule beside me as my queen. Before I consent, let's go back a little bit. You said sex. What is that?
5 minutes.
Confessing what is that? Thank you, Lynn. When two people love each other, when two people love each other, they Facebook each other and become friends. That's it. Lynn, this is so sudden. Can I have a little bit of time to think about it? Only if you'll let me tag you in the photos that I have. What photos are those, Lynn?
Still going on.
I was young, I needed the money.
Caitlin, quick, pick a question.
Someone raise your hand in the way back by the door.
Oh,
By the door, yes, you with the wig.
give me pleasure.
Yes, you.
Okay, question for Vic. Talking about Edward Cullen and Edward Elric, how do you feel about the comparison between the two? Because everyone is like, I'm Team Edward Elric.
He's the
I love that. I love seeing those T-shirts that say Team Edward Elric. I love it, and I think he would probably break that Pattinson character over his knee. People are always trying to get your characters to fight. They're like, who would win if Broly and Ikaku fought? Or who would win if Ling and Kaoru fought? Or whatever. I would like to see what's his name, Pattinson, Robert Pattinson and Edward fight.
We could have a sparkle off between that Edward and Armstrong. I'm supposed to sparkle, you are not. Behold my beautiful blood-drinking alchemy!
Edward Elric.
For Caitlin, have you ever actually been tempted to throw a wrench at Vic?
like every day.
But when are you not?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how hard you'd have to throw that from Spain to hit him.
And you heard when it hit.
How hard I'd have to throw it to get it to break through the two-pane glass glass in the booth, like when I'm directing it. Like, that's wrong for the 18 millionth time! Crash, blood in the head, blood everywhere.
I got your soul, man.
Very cool.
Right here?
So this is a question for all of you. In the production process, you ever run into a point where you have a line of dialogue that just does not fit the, the movement or the classic screen at all? How do you sort of get around that?
All the time.
I change it. That's my job. Now, usually I double check the translation. I see what the intent of the line is. I look at the animation. I see whether or not this is possible. Is this a speed up? Is this a slow down? Or is this something that we need to take another look at? So.
Yeah, we come up with something that'll work. And you know what? Sometimes it happens because the person who wrote it, they perform the line in their mind, right? When they're writing, they perform it to the picture, and they're like, oh yeah, that'll work great. But what sometimes isn't taken into account is that different actors deliver lines at different speeds. So like, I know that when Caitlin was writing, what was it that you were writing? And I mean, if the writer is familiar with the actor, then they will write, kind of take into account like the way that Todd, might deliver the line, and it might need a little bit more wording to if he does it faster or slower.
It comes out of work because the people that write, like the lines that I say, don't account for the Asian accent. So that was a lot of rewriting of my stuff.
Soka.
Sukoi! Pick somebody.
Music.
Black Star.
Yeah, so have you guys done anything inside the studios where you've done like something to mess with each other before the next person came in?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll commit some felony or crime in the booth and then change the time schedule so that when they come in, I blame them and I call the cops and say, look what Vic did. And, he may not get convicted for it, but it's going to really put a kink in his day.
I do have quite a rap sheet.
Yeah.
I do.
The press will still have photos of their arrest.
Yeah.
In the car and
He may not go to jail for 24 hours, but he'll be there for like an hour or two.
People are just going to remember the photos,
Yeah.
not the aftermath.
Yeah.
Like, Caitlin,
Why are you in your session, Victor?
Todd did it again.
Have a corn!
He's afraid they have a corn.
No,
Todd Abercorn.
we leave little bombs for each other
Yeah.
all the time.
Like, what's your most favorite one?
I don't know about the favorite one. I just did one recently that I got a text about. I left one in Dragon Ball Kai for Sabbath and everybody else. There was a group shot of 4 or 5 characters, and I was the first one to record. And everyone is saying the same thing. So usually what happens with that instance is whoever records first is kind of the setup person for, when you review it, you're like, okay, this is what Mike did for Roshi, kind of match his intensity and volume and everything, but with your character voice. So I just did the most horrible, wrong, no one would ever use it inflection ever, and then left that for each person when they would come in to record.
Yeah, what was it?
The line was, she did what? It would be more like, she did what?
Uh-huh.
I did, she did what?